I always had this gnawing feeling in my gut that my wife was messing around, but she was slick, never left anything behind. No texts, no lipstick on the collar, nothing. Just cold distance and that smug little smile she gave me when I asked where she'd been. That smile haunted me. The kind that said she thought I was too stupid to see what was happening right under my nose. Every time she'd come home late, her excuses were practiced, rehearsed like lines from a play I wasn't invited to watch. Traffic was terrible, she'd say, or the meeting ran long. And I'd nod like the good, trusting husband she thought I was. But inside? Inside, I was keeping score. 8 years of marriage, and somewhere along the line, I became furniture. Background noise. Someone to pay half the mortgage and keep the lawn mowed. The sex had dried up months ago, always a headache, always too tired, always some bullshit excuse. But she still dolled herself up before leaving the house. Still bought those lacy things I never got to see. So one day, I'd had enough. She was singing in the shower, some pop song about freedom, and her phone sat there on the bathroom counter, unlocked. Calling to me. Taunting me. I installed a tracker app while she was washing her hair. Took me 5 minutes. Didn't even feel guilty. Just needed answers. The app was hidden, buried in a folder she'd never check. Cost me $40. Best money I ever spent. That night, she told me she was going out with some coworkers from the accounting firm. Happy hour that might turn into dinner. Don't wait up, she said, kissing my cheek with lips that felt like ice. Might be late. Have fun, I said, smiling like I believed her. Like I was the same sucker I'd always been. The tracker app glowed green on my phone screen as I watched her little dot move through the city. She wasn't at any restaurant downtown. No, her dot sat motionless at the Staytime Motel off Highway 16. The kind of place that rents by the hour and doesn't ask questions. I zoomed in. Room 204. Second floor, facing the back lot where no one driving by would see your car. My stomach felt like I'd swallowed broken glass. I stared at that screen like it punched me in the throat. The dot didn't move. 1 hour. 2 hours. The air in our living room felt thick, hard to breathe. On the coffee table sat the sweater I was folding for her, the cashmere one I'd saved 3 months to buy for her birthday. Next to it, the leftover lasagna I'd heated up for dinner, now cold and congealed. I could have driven there. Could have kicked the door in, thrown fists, made a scene like they do in the movies. Could have caught them naked and sweating and guilty. But no. I wanted it clean. Quiet. Permanent. At 11:38, her dot finally moved. Left the motel, stopped at a 7-Eleven, probably for gum to mask the smell, then headed home. I turned off all the lights except the TV, pretended to be dozing on the couch. She came through the door at 12:04. Hair messy, shirt wrinkled and buttoned wrong, breath smelling like someone else's cologne, not the spicy musk I wore, but something cheaper, sharper. I noticed a small red mark on her neck that hadn't been there earlier. She smiled and kissed my cheek, and I swear to God, I could taste him on her. Some other man's sweat. Some other man's spit. Good time? I asked, voice casual, like my entire world wasn't collapsing. Just drinks and gossip. Boring stuff, she lied, right to my face, not even having the decency to look guilty. I'm beat. Coming to bed? I smiled back. In a bit. That night, while she slept like a baby beside me, no nightmares, no guilt keeping her awake, I started my plan. First, I took screenshots of her location data. Every stop, every time stamp, every dirty little lie catalogued and dated. The motel visits, not just once but 7 times in the last month. Always on Thursdays when she claimed to be at happy hour. Always for about 2 hours. Always the same room. Then I got into our shared accounts, the iPad we both used, the cloud storage linked to both our phones. Checked hotel charges on our joint credit card. Found Square payment receipts for the motel that she thought were hidden in her email trash. I synced cloud backups, recovered deleted photos. And holy shit. She wasn't just cheating. She was documenting it like a scrapbook. Explicit pictures. Video clips. Text messages with her girlfriends bragging about her afternoon delight. The guy was some personal trainer from her gym. Ripped abs, tribal tattoos, the whole cliché package. 27 years old, 13 years younger than me. The messages were the worst. How she complained about me. How boring I was in bed. How she faked it with me but never with him. How she was settling until something better came along. Her friends egging her on. You go girl, and he'll never find out, he's so clueless, with laughing emojis that burned into my retinas. Over the next week, I copied everything. Built a neat little folder. Organized it chronologically. Added timestamps, notes, cross-references. Hell, I even made a PowerPoint presentation, something I learned in my boring corporate job. Slide after slide of betrayal in high definition. I didn't confront her. Didn't change my behavior. Still kissed her goodbye in the mornings, still asked about her day, still pretended I was blind. Meanwhile, I was making calls during my lunch breaks. Lawyer. Bank. Locksmith. Then, when everything was ready, I sent the evidence folder to her parents, those uptight, church every Sunday people who thought their daughter was perfect. To her boss, who had strict morality clauses in their employment contracts. To her church group that she led every Wednesday night, teaching teenage girls about purity. Hell, even to her best friend who always acted like she didn't know a thing but whose messages showed she'd been covering for my wife the whole time. One mass email, no explanation. Just, thought you should know who she really is. Attached was the PowerPoint, the screenshots, everything. Then I drained our joint account. Left her enough for a cab, I'm not completely heartless. Changed the locks with the locksmith I'd arranged. Cancelled her cards. Packed her things in suitcases, not neatly. I wasn't feeling careful with her designer clothes. And when she came home from her yoga class, another lie, she was at his apartment this time, she found her suitcases on the porch and a manila envelope taped to the door, copies of everything. A note inside said, "Congratulations. Now everybody knows." I watched through the peephole as she opened the envelope. Watched her face transform from confusion to shock to horror. Watched as she frantically checked her phone, seeing the barrage of messages coming in. Her mother's name flashed on the screen. Then her boss. Then her pastor. She pounded on the door for hours. First angry, screaming that I had no right. Then pleading, swearing it was a mistake, that she would explain everything. Then crying, mascara running down her face, saying she loved me, that she'd get help, that we could fix this. I didn't say a word. Just sat on the couch, beer in hand, watching her meltdown through the peephole like a movie I'd already seen. Each tear she shed was like a drop in the ocean compared to what I'd felt seeing those pictures, reading those messages. Her personal trainer boy toy showed up around midnight. Not to support her, no, he was pissed. Turns out I'd sent him a special package too, screenshots of all the times she'd trash-talked him to her friends. How she laughed about his needle dick and his mommy issues. How she was using him for sex while looking for someone with more money. They screamed at each other on my porch for 20 minutes before he peeled out, leaving her sobbing in the dark. Her phone kept lighting up all night. I could see her through the living room window, sitting on the porch steps, scrolling through the wreckage of her life. The temptation to open the door, to see her broken up close, was strong. But I stayed put. This was cleaner. By morning, she was gone. So were her suitcases. But she'd left something behind, her wedding ring, placed on the welcome mat. Probably thought it was some grand gesture. I picked it up, this tiny circle of metal that had once meant something, and dropped it down the garbage disposal. The grinding sound was satisfying in a way I can't describe. Her parents called me that afternoon. Her father, that proud man who'd never much liked me, was sobbing. How could she do this? We raised her better. Her mother wanted details, timelines, evidence of when it started. I gave them nothing. Just silence. They'd seen enough. The bank accounts were separated. The house was in my name, her credit had been too bad when we bought it, another thing I'd carried for her. Divorce papers were filed the next day. She didn't contest anything. 2 days later, she lost her job. Morality clause violation. A week after that, her church asked her to step down from youth leadership. The life she'd built on lies was collapsing, brick by brick. She tried coming by the house once more, a month later. Looked like hell. Hair unwashed, clothes rumpled. The sparkle in her eyes, the one that used to light me up inside, was dead. She begged for forgiveness. Said she'd hit rock bottom. Said she'd realized what she'd thrown away. I listened silently at the door. Let her get it all out. The tears. The apologies. The promises to change. When she finally ran out of words, I spoke for the first time since it all went down. You know what's funny? I said through the door. I would have forgiven anything. One mistake. A drunken slip-up. Hell, even an affair if you'd come clean. But you didn't just cheat, you laughed at me. Made me a joke to your friends. To your lover. You came home and kissed me with the same mouth that had just been all over him. You laid beside me planning your next lie. So no, I don't forgive you. I don't hate you anymore either. You're just, nothing to me now. I heard her breath catch. Please, she whispered. I still love you. I laughed then. Couldn't help it. No, you don't. You loved what I provided. Security. Stability. Someone to fall back on while you were out having fun. That's not love. That's convenience. What can I do? She asked, voice cracking. Tell me what I can do to fix this. Nothing, I said. It's already fixed. I'm free. I walked away from the door, turned the TV volume up to drown out her crying. Eventually, she left. I haven't seen her since. Her friends, the ones who knew and encouraged her, don't look me in the eye when I run into them around town. They cross the street, duck into stores. Good. The personal trainer moved to another gym. Apparently, having your dirty laundry aired to all your clients is bad for business. Me? I sold the house. Too many memories. Moved into a smaller place downtown. Started dating again, casually. Nothing serious. Trust doesn't come easy anymore. But that gnawing feeling in my gut? Gone. Replaced by something lighter. Not happiness, not yet. But peace, maybe. The peace of knowing that I wasn't crazy. That I saw the truth and dealt with it on my terms. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far. If the scorched earth approach was overkill. But then I remember her face when she'd lie to me. That smug little smile. That look that said I was too stupid to see what was happening. And I know I'd do it all again. Exactly the same way. The revenge wasn't hot and passionate like in the movies. It was cold. Calculated. Devastating. And man, the credits never felt so good.